Coffee.
Welcome to Coffee with Tim Black. I'm your host, Tim Black. Thank you for tuning in. Remember the Democratic Party tour of Unity?
Thank Tom Perez for his remarks. Last night...
Now, Tim Black is unapologetically black. Tom Perez is an unapologetic hack. It's not the same thing, though it sounds the same. As reported by the Observer and my friend Mike Signato, DNC Chair Tom Perez, his list of appointments and nominations to the DNC positions was leaked. So now we get to see exactly what all this DNC Unity talk culminated into. 4 prominent supporters of Congressman Keith Ellison, the progressive who ran against Perez in the February 2017 DNC chair election, were removed. That's right, the very people that would usher in a more progressive party on the left, the very people that were vocal supporters of not only Keith Ellison but Bernie Sanders, have been removed from their positions of leadership. Now, I don't know about you, but that don't sound like unity. The first trans person, which you would think would be sort of a big deal, elected to the DNC, Barb's Sipperstein was removed, along with Ellison's former secretary, Alice Germond, and New Hampshire Democratic Party chair, Ray Buckley. Our Revolution board member, James Zogby, was demoted from his executive committee seat to an at-large nomination. Supporters of Ellison and Senator Bernie Sanders are drastically underrepresented in Perez's selections, and the nominations are weighed towards lobbyists or loyalists to Perez and Hillary Clinton. Former DNC chair, and you're going to love this, the former DNC chair, Donna Brazile, was nominated for an at-large position and appointed to the Rules and Bylaws Committee. Donna Brazile, the same Donna Brazile that was caught in WikiLeaks passing questions to Hillary Clinton for one of the CNN town hall events. The Donna Brazile, I can hardly think of more than one other person, or maybe 2 people, who row the disgust and the anger of progressives more than Donna Brazile. It's either Debbie Wasserman Schultz, or Hillary Clinton, or Donna Brazile. These are the 3 people, the 3 primary culprits of all of the dissension on the left. And you appoint this woman. You appoint her anyway. This is the epitome of arrogance, the epitome of stupidity. Several former and current lobbyists received DNC appointments and nominations, outnumbering those given to Sanders supporters. Jeff Berman, a former lobbyist for the private prison company Geo Group. You're appointing private prison officials, but you cut Bernie supporters? You cut Keith Ellison supporters? Jamie Harrison, a former coal lobbyist who ran for DNC chair and endorsed Perez after dropping out, was nominated for an executive committee at large member position. Coal lobbyist. Lobbyist to you kick out Keith Ellison supporters who should have won the DNC chair. You kick them out and you import lobbyists for coal. It gets worse. Carla and Roxanne Brown were nominated to be at-large members. They are registered lobbyists. Registered lobbyists. Clinton fundraiser and registered lobbyist Tony Burgos, appointed to the DNC Finance Committee. Mignon Moore and Maria Cardona, senior officials at the lobbying firm Dewey Square, received an executive committee at-large, DNC at-large member nomination. Daniel Halpern was chosen to serve as co-chair of the DNC Finance Committee. As chairman of the Georgia Restaurant Association, Halpern played an active role in shutting down a bill that would have increased Georgia's state minimum wage. You get the guy that wants to depress wages in a party that's supposed to stand for increased minimum wage to all Americans. And you expect us to go along with that. This is how you bring unity, Mr. Tom Perez? Okay. Listen, Clinton's fingers are all over this thing. Several Clinton insiders received DNC positions as well. Former Bill Clinton Chief of Staff Harold Ickes and Hillary Clinton advisor Tony Cornho received committee appointments. Former Ready for Hillary National Finance Co-Chair Francisco Dominic was nominated in an at-large position despite his formal support last year of Republican Jennifer Gonzalez bid for Puerto Rico's resident commissioner. Hillary Clinton's Nevada and Colorado State Director, Emmy Ruiz, was nominated for an at-large position, as was Clinton campaign staffers Ellie Perez, Craig Smith, and Cristobal Alex. They were all also nominated. It's very clear that the Democratic Party has not learned its lessons. Losing every election runoff, and I do mean every election runoff, was not enough for them. Their fundraising is in the toilet. In fact, if you compare the DNC to the GOP when it comes to fundraising, the DNC is obviously a panhandler on the corner with his pockets turned out. He's got a cup in his hand. He can't get a job. He can't make the rent. He has no place to sleep. He's got nothing. The dog won't even walk with him anymore. You understand? The dog is running away from this guy. This guy is bad for business. He's horrible. And on the GOP side, we got guys named Biff doing donuts in the parking lot in Dad's new BMW. You guys are horrible. Tom Perez, I know you didn't want this job. You suck at it. Keith Ellison, he has the potential of moving the Democratic Party forward and actually uniting the sectors of the Democratic Party that would be needed in order to form a coalition that could change policy in this country. But obviously you didn't want to go in that direction. You want to maintain status quo. You want to continue to put the same relics, the same loser candidates or the same loser coalitions together, which is nothing but this idea that we can get the centrist Democrats and we just get enough of those and we get a bunch of Republican people to cross the aisle and be centrist too. When that didn't work in 2016, it hasn't been working for the decade in the House and the Senate, but you expect it to work now? You want this to work now? And you want people that support that type of policy, those type of candidates to be the leaders of the DNC? And you expect us to support you, not only with our votes, but with our money, with our time, with our volunteering, with our canvassing? No, it's not going to happen. No one's going to support it. Nobody wants it. Bernie Sanders breathed new air in your lungs, but instead of embracing his supporters, for months you mocked, demeaned, ignored, and now you remove them. Instead of doing the things that would actually secure a victory in 2020, you're doing the opposite of that. You're doing the things that will secure a victory for Donald Trump. The Democratic Party's popularity is right up there with Harvey Weinstein and O.J. Simpson. This is not good. Look, I'm not going to sit here and try to defend the indefensible. Go ahead. If you want your Donna Braziles, have your Donna Braziles. You want your Clinton relics, your Clinton loyalists to stumble out of the gates of hell and go back into positions where they do nothing but cause all of your supporters to gag reflex instinctively and spontaneously? Well, fine. I guess I get that. Maybe you're in the vomit on the floor instead of votes and butts in the door. Look, if you want L's, you're going to get L's. You're going to get so many L's, you're going to have a stack of L's. A stack, a high stack. It'll be like Pringles, canisters of Pringles. It's going to be it's going to be like the beanstalk of L's. That's what you're going to get. Look, back in 2001, the Carolina Panthers was the worst team in football. They went 1-15. Yeah, it wasn't a good year. But you know what they did? When they had an opportunity to draft a quarterback, they drafted a great quarterback in the name of Cam Newton. Cam Newton helped turn that franchise around because Cam Newton had the ability to put butts in the seats and put touchdowns in the end zone. When you DNC members had an opportunity to put your own version of Cam Newton in the slot, that being Bernie Sanders, what did you do? You ran Hillary Clinton anyway. You shoved down our throats this one of the most despised politicians in American history, one of the most polarizing people that you could possibly find. It's like you put out an ad, give me the worst candidate that I could possibly find and let me put him up there against a guy who's popular and everyone knows him, he's got a lot of money, and he's willing to use any tactic to win. And they gave you Hillary Clinton, and you put her up there. You put her up there. You made her the go-to. And then you wonder why you lose. I don't wonder why you lose. I wonder if you ever wake up to the fact that maybe losing ain't cool. It definitely doesn't seem like it pays a lot. Well, you do what you want to do, DNC. I'll continue to call you out at every turn when it is due. And believe it, Tom Perez, this is due. I'm not saying Keith Ellison or Bernie Sanders are perfect. They're far from perfect. But if you compare those two to Tom Perez, what he's doing with the DNC, and Bernie Sanders to Hillary Clinton, well, hell, I don't think there's a real comparison. Let's say you live in Richmond or nearby Richmond, and you're looking for something fun to do. Well, won't you come out December 2nd to Ponies and Pints and see me, Lee Camp, and Chris Mohan make you laugh to keep from crying? Do it. December 2nd, Ponies and Pints, Richmond, Virginia. Be there. Right.